Peace. Peace. Damn, happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. We're not going too far in the future. We not going too far in the past. The only thing that exists is this moment right now. You watching this video. You in the moment. You right now, tuned into universal frequencies. To the universal frequencies. But now is the vibrate, of course. I'm going to speak on the full moon in Libra. The full moon for April 19th, 2019. Just speaking on the moon energies, we know like the new moon is more of the reflective vibe, going inward. I use the analogy of like, the moon being dark, like turning its back to everybody and doing its little spells and rituals to detach from certain energies, reflective, saying like, all right, I see how it's doing this. I need to, remove this, or I need to, remove that. Matter of fact, it's more for destructive magic, and destructive, not like, oh, that's bad, but dealing with, elimination, extermination of a lot of energies, a transmutation of certain things. While a full moon is more so of constructive magic, dealing with like, love, success, protection, health, so boosting, the energies you put out. Like, so the new moon is reflectively like, all right, I need to pull away from this. I was doing this too much, like more so removing. And that full moon, matter of fact, and it's full of light, full of emotions, like the cup, the new moon is like an empty cup and the full moon is like a cup full, and that's also with the analogy to, the lunatics, people talk about, oh, it's a full moon outside, the lunatics, lunar, L-U-N-A-R, it's like the root word for lunatics, because people emotions is at a high, that's another thing too. The moon deals with our deeper, emotions, like that emotional body, and also in connection with the water, because the water is tapped into our intuitive feminine energies. That's why most water signs, like a Pisces or a Cancer, kind of got that, like that super loving, caring vibe about them as well. No coincidence that Cancer is ruled by the moon, you know what I'm saying? And again, that's those waters, and we made out of 70, at least 70% water. So just like how the tides are affected externally by the moon cycles, internally as well. Matter of fact, shout out to somebody Instagram post that was on some as above so below vibes of, like how the woman's cycle, as far as the period, the menstrual cycle, connected with the moon, so they got that connection. And then like how a man, wakes up with morning wood, so to speak. How that's like, waking up in the morning, the sun is rising, and the sun energy is connected to solar phallic energy, or the phallus, or, that sperm, or that sunlight, that fiery energy in essence, or solar energy. That's also Papa Legba energy. I mean, even the top hat kind of, in some way, represents a phallus in some way, form, or fashion. So, you see all those little correlations and connections with that. But, again, the moon is dealing with our deep emotions. Matter of fact, dreams, intuition, fertility, creativity, changefulness, like how we change, dealing with secrets and psychic abilities. And we're going to be dealing with, those energies of the moon in connection with, the Libra energy. The Libra energy deals with being diplomatic, sociable, easygoing, and relationship oriented. And matter of fact, like that's the main aspect of this full moon in Libra right now, is pointing to dealing with relationships. And because we're still in the Aries energy, so you're gonna find yourself dealing with this full moon energy, still from a way of thinking about self. Like, so of course, it's gonna be bringing up different aspects of relationships up to the forefront, which I'm gonna get into more detail about. But like with that Aries energy, is making sure your relationships are in alignment with your unique passions. And right now, in general, in the month of April, we're dealing with a lot of karmic energy. Not to speak so much on it in which a lot of it, some of it is coming more so after, you know, this full moon. But like, you know, you're gonna have a Pluto going in retrograde. You know, Jupiter, if it hasn't started, this retrograde is coming soon, and also I want to say Saturn, if I'm not mistaken, too. And Saturn and Pluto, you know, that's some very karmic, you know, energies. You know, some deep, strong energies, and you know, call for a strong transformation. But right now, you know, we're triggering each other's shadow self in some way, form, or fashion. And that's a part of our relationships. You know, we're gonna be connecting with beings from, you know, past lives and things of this nature. That's gonna be sparking certain aspects of our shadow self. Like, say for instance, if you get nervous around people, you know, and that's one of the aspects of your shadow self, you're gonna come across people, places, or things that's gonna, you know, bring that nervousness up to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, also we're going through a miniature dark night of the soul right now. You know, and you know, we always get that vibe, you know, of why am I going through this? Especially if we looking at it through the lens of the New Age spiritual movement, where everything should be peachy and fine and all the time. You know, everything is sunshine, butterflies, and unicorns. You know, when in actuality, you know, it's not all sunshine, butterflies, and unicorns. But even when it's not, it's still not anything to be looked upon as bad, or, you know, or this is something's not going right, or, you know, no, whatever you're going through is for a reason. You know, and always remembering that pressure makes a diamond. So, you know, we're going through this little miniature miniature dark night of the soul type of a review. Just like before a big exam, like, you know, you gotta take this big exit exam. You know, you gotta review the material. You know, you gotta go over the material to make sure you pass this test. You know, so our little miniature dark night of the soul coming back up. Matter of fact, that's for sure why I kind of was, you know, falling back on the videos for the last three days or so. You know, I wasn't, you know, dealing with it because I could feel that I was just going through a lot of shadow work. You know, and it's not being shamed to you know, to speak in front of y'all when I'm going through certain things, but some things are so heavy that, you know, it's just you know, like, say for instance, the part of me that may like to take any information and run with it, let's just say, you know, that aspect may be coming up to the forefront, bubbling up. So I don't want to be doing videos when a part of me that that likes to just take any information and speak on it is active. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to make sure that I'm, you know, have removed myself from that place before I go to, you know, or at least if I'm strong enough, be consciously aware to not, you know, that energy pop up. But, you know, yeah, we dealing with a lot of shadow work, you know, and dark night of the soul vibes coming back up. So again, don't feel like, oh man, you know, I've been meditating, doing this for like about 10 years, or I've been doing this for about, you know, 20 years, or whatever the case may be. You know, no matter how long you've been doing this, a lot of us, again, we, like, fully, you know, in order to be lighter than a feather, you got to get all that shit out, you know, like, so, you know, we basically reviewing our fears. And it's just like busting a pimple. You know, when a pimple busts up on your face, you know, in order to have a clear face, you got to go through that pimple stage. You know, whatever it is, it has to make its way out through your skin, you know. And you know, as ugly as it looks, you know, the beautiful aspect is that once it, you know, whether it busts on its own or you kind of induce it, you know, which you don't want to be too hands-on, you know, because you do want to allow for a pimple and for matters, you know, within your life to kind of, you know, play itself out, and you not try to forcefully push through it, you know, but eventually that pimple is gonna, you know, bust or go away, and that area is gonna be cleansed, you know, now, because that's what it was actually doing, was getting rid of waste. So yeah, that pimple didn't look good, and that pus and all that shit is nasty, and, you know, but that, you know, it's within you, you know, literally and figuratively speaking. You know, a lot of things, you know, just like that pus, like, well, oh, pus nasty, but right now pus is inside your body, you know what I'm saying? And in order for it to be transmuted or cleansed out, it has to come to the top, you know. But again, everything just pointing back to relationships. And also Libra energy deals with our kidneys, you know, and the kidneys balancing the water, cleansing and balancing the water pH within the body. So you know that you know, you have that connection as well. And also again tied to the full moon, because the full moon deals with the water in the body. Libra energy connected mostly to the 7th house, and that deals with business partners, equality. You know, the Libra scales. You know, and the Libra constellation is, when we go into the Libra constellation, is when we in the fall equinox. The equinox means equal days and equal nights. So a lot about balance, but again, balance and in connection with relationships. And matter of fact, you know, a little bit of both, because think about it, my relationship with myself, I'm trying to balance my mind, body, and soul. So, you know, that's a theme right now, is our relationships with our internal selves, you know, because in order to have external relationships, you know, the relationship with our inner guidance and with our inner self need to be on point, you know what I'm saying? And right now, it's important for us to, you know, understand and love our dark side, you know. It's no necessarily getting rid of, like, we're not killing our egos, we're not killing our dark side. We're loving, you know, giving that unconditional love and understanding. And what's real, you know, now this aspect, and that's what the chess game, you know, is slick at. Where, you know, that might sound like some old new age BS type of shit, but nah, you know, unconditionally loving yourself, which don't mean like, oh, just be nice. Nah. Unconditional love mean no matter if you procrastinate, or you like to smoke herb a lot sometimes, or you like to do whatever, you know, love yourself regardless, you know what I'm saying? Don't hate yourself, because if you're feeling like that towards yourself, then you definitely won't be able to, you know, love everyone else unconditionally, like it's gonna be conditional, like, oh, this person act like this, so I ain't, you know, or this person. And again, unconditional love doesn't mean agreement with actions, like, oh, I'm in agreement with all the things they do. No, I could still unconditional love, like, again, like I unconditionally love my mom, but I'm not in agreement with you know, certain aspects of health that she deal with, you know what I'm saying? Still love her though, you know, like, that's the whole vibe, you know, unconditional love, you know, and again, it starts with ourselves first and foremost. So we're gonna have that aspect, relationship with others, and matter of fact, that's coming up too, relationship with others in a more graduated sense of it, you know, like realizing that it's not about us possessing each other, and this not yay or nay on the whether you want to have like a one-on-one quote-unquote marriage or relationship for the rest of your life, or you dealing with the polygamy vibes, whatever the case may be. But, you know, now that energy is kind of coming up to the, you know, it's bubbling up, like seeing what really resonates in your heart as far as your relationship statuses across the board, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, whether it's business partners, you know, companionship type of relationships, your relationship with yourself, you know, like all relationships is coming up. And matter of fact, high self kind of hit me with the term relationship musical chairs right now, you know, with this Libra full moon. So say, for instance, relationship musical chairs, a person who you thought had a chair, you know, you playing musical chairs, you thought, you know, this person that you thought probably was gonna, you know, be good at musical chairs or have a chair, you know, they done lost their chair and they out the game, you know. The music stopping, that person, shit, they happen to be without a chair, you know. Or, you know, on the opposite side, you know, somebody who you thought, you know, wasn't good at musical chairs and was going to be without a chair, actually good at musical chairs, and they actually have a chair in your circle or your game of musical chairs, you know, so to speak. So, relationship musical chairs, you know, some people that you may have thought had a chair, is not going to have a chair, and some people who you thought wouldn't have a chair is going to have a chair. I think I said that right. But the vice versa aspect of that situation, and again, self-relationship, and realizing it's not about possessing each other. Like, that's another aspect or theme, just on the underlining, not so much the theme of just the full moon and Libra per se, but just in general right now, learning about how we don't possess each other, and being in the moment with our relationships. Not trying to set up no 10-year plan with somebody or this and that, like let a relationship be what it is in the moment, and let a relationship be in connection from the heart, not the thoughts. Not connecting with somebody because you think this is what you should do. You should feel like, it should feel like, like your actions are going to be in an alignment with, with what you feel about the situation. Like, you never really have to think hard about whether you should deal with somebody who you truly love to deal with, And that's on all levels, again, whether it's intimate relationship, companionship, business, all levels. When it resonates, it resonates. When it don't, it don't. And we're gonna be realizing again that coming up to the forefront of areas where we may have been trying to push relationships, like trying to make this relationship happen in the moment due to like out of fear. That's another thing. Like, nothing should be out of fear. You shouldn't be dealing with any relationships out of fear, and that's gonna come up to the forefront. Like, are you dealing with a certain person because you fear that if you wasn't dealing with them, you wouldn't have a place to stay, or or your business wouldn't be able to grow if if I stop dealing with this person, my business is gonna go down. Like, you shouldn't be dealing with nobody off of those type of energies. Like, your motivation should be about love. Like, I love to deal with this being and this energy, not, oh, I fear this situation happens, so let me deal with this relationship. Nah, what I'm saying? That's coming to an end. Like, so again, that everything points to just our relationships, how we go about dealing with them. Again, we triggering each other's shadow selves. So that's another aspect that's going on too. And don't judge another, not judging ourselves and others. Like, everybody going through a lot of shadow work. Our job is, in essence, to be, very observant right now. Observe and be compassionate. Like, understand, like, empathy, like, understand somebody's position and where they're coming from. Like, I understand how some white people could be racist. I understand how, just certain aspects. Again, not saying, oh, I agree, white people, you should be racist and try to kill off all the melanated people, Like, nah, I'm not in agreement with that, but I understand, where they come from. Because, again, on a bigger picture, we once, had people in slavery, a.k.a., there have been some European people, who we were treating like slaves at one time, and what goes around, karmic energy, cause and effect. So there's a reason why somebody had to deal with 400 years, because it's almost like your ass whipping gonna be worse because you know better. You know what I'm saying? Like, you a grown ass soul and you enslaving these beings, like, at least, they didn't really too much know better. They young beings, ain't been around the scene. History started about 2,000 years ago, They gonna do some shit like that. Just like a little kid gonna fucking, cut a hole in the couch or draw on the wall or some shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, they'll fuck up the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what a little kid gonna do, you know what I'm saying? Especially from when they're not being guided on how to kind of, how to operate in a non-destructive manner, you know what I'm saying? But, in that relationship, the karmic relationship of all the different, for what we break it down to in the 3D realm, these different hues or races or ethnicities, you know what I'm saying? But these different, like, hues of the bodysuit, understanding their little karmic relationships, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, just going deeper into to that aspect. And, again, we're also, within our relationships, seeing, like, dealing with the boundaries in the relationship in the essence of, again, or more so, let's just say, dealing with that Aries energy again, of making sure your relationships are in alignment with your unique passions. Because right now you're going to be in situations where, some of the people that you vibe with strongly, may bring up, and this is where you always got to realize too, these things are happening because of your own inner indecisiveness. Like, say for instance, if at one point I was feeling like, man, I want to get a van and travel across the world, but then I switch my mind up and be like, well, no, I really want to, vibe in this one particular area for, and travel on an airplane mostly. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say that. Well, the fact that you did hold that vibe of wanting to travel with a van long enough, that energy is still going to pop up. So you're going to have like an energy of, like, say for instance, somebody like, hey man, you want to deal with this situation? And it's for you to understand in that moment, like, all right, when I was in that vibe, I was kind of like maybe, having more of an external view about things, or dealing with more so somebody else's perspective on how to live, and that wasn't really my vibe of what was in my heart, but when those situations, again, like, due to your own, like, indecisiveness internally, it pops up as situations as people presenting that same indecisiveness that's within you. You have to just be strong within your heart to know, like, all right, I really, really do want this. I really, really don't want this. You know what I'm saying? Like, because again, especially for those of us who used to that, like, making decisions to be nice or to not hurt nobody's feelings. Like, nah, it's not about that. It's about doing what you love. You know what I'm saying? Don't hurt your own feelings. Right now, like, make sure you're in alignment with what you truly want to deal with, and not just dealing with things, again, because you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings or to be nice, because that's also a part of relationships. Like, being authentic about our relationships is something that's going to be of the theme as well, and seeing where the authentic relationships are at right now, again, on multiple levels. Because, again, just like with planets, like, certain planets orbit in each other's fields for a certain amount of times, that may be, some planets may orbit around each other for long periods of time, some short periods of time, but it's all about just being in the moment with any and all relationships. It's not trying to overly plan anything and try to go in your thoughts about what a relationship should be. Just be within that relationship, and whatever you feel like as you go, your heart, you done saw it happen within your life, for the most part. Whenever you done had glimpses of consciousness, you see that your heart is always, guiding you towards, what should be in the moment, and you never really had to pre-think it. It's like, it's gonna come to you in that moment, like, your inner guidance is gonna hit you with a strong vibe to, do or say certain things, in the moment. It's about, expressing ourselves. A lot of us be biting our tongue on expressing ourselves in relationships, We're going to be reflecting on that. Time to be, a little more open as far as, like, not being afraid to connect with certain beings, on certain levels. But again, it's a balance of, again, dealing with relationships from a alignment with your inner being. We all have a unique purpose. If it was meant for us to all be, doing the same shit or acting the same, we would be Siamese twin. We would be one big Siamese twin, and we, be doing things the same and all have the same ideas. I think that's cool. Like, of course, we're going to have similar, things that we deal with on our growth. But it's not for us to be yes men to each other and not for us to try to influence each other, because that's a very parasitic, demonic energy, again, down to somebody just, and think about it on that simple level. Think about how uncomfortable you feel whenever somebody tries to get you to laugh at a joke that you don't find funny. Where they like, get it? Like, laugh how I'm laughing right now. Like, this joke should be funny to you on the level that it is funny to me. And it's like, nah, sorry, not sorry. That wasn't that funny to me. But, and what makes it even worse is when you express, hey, that wasn't that funny to me. And then that person, but still, and which we come up in a social construct of society where, we've been duped to believe that that's the norm. Like, if I bring up something, this person gotta find it funny like me. Like, the only way for us to be friends is for us to laugh at the same things all the time and, say some of the same phrases all the time and do some of the same things all the time. It's like, no, gotta be nice to each other all the time and always say yes to each other. And we breaking down that energy right now, again, like on karmic levels, activating each other's shadow self, like I think about, again with the shadow work, like the little theme of people asking me certain questions that's like on some vibe of like, all right, whether it may be something that they could Google or it may be a question that's like, but they just trying to drop their whole little personal life on me on some, here, tell me all about all this shit I'm going through, even though I didn't ask you if you got the time to look at this, So in that moment, like that's that test for me, like as far as like standing my energy and realize to be authentic and to not be just nice and be like, oh, let me just be nice, even though this probably going, taking me out of my energy or my balance. Let me just be nice and like, no, I gotta say, well, hey, I can help you with this situation, but maybe we need to schedule some type of little vibe, so I could run it with you, or I get a certain little comment, and it's a test for me to, instead of feeling some kind of way of being like, oh man, it's like, I get it, people just asking questions, like people just, new to the growth and want to find out things and gonna ask any and all things, because at the end of the day, again, that, you shouldn't be scared to ask any question, even though again, is a balance. I feel like, yeah, there are some questions. Again, there's no stupid question in the sense of you should ask any and all questions, but there are stupid questions as far as like, just certain things that, it's like, what's the relevance of asking certain things in certain situations, But that's basically it, y'all. Again, just dealing with the relationship vibes. Understand and love ourselves, our relationship with our mind, body, and soul, and balancing out our energies, balancing out our emotions, tapping into that realm. How does our relationships play onto our emotions? But that's basically, it, we dealing with the social energy, relationships. And it doesn't mean, again, dealing with this from the thought realm of like, oh, I think I have to be more social just because I think I haven't, like everything should come from what you love. It should never be about like, oh, I fear this might happen to me, so let me do this. Remember that, like, it should never be that. It should always be like, bro, I really love taking this path with all my heart, instead of, oh, I'm gonna just take this path because I'm scared that some shit gonna happen over here. I'm scared that this gonna happen, so let me just take this path. then the universe is again gonna cycle you back through that, that fear and that, that energy. Yep, that's basically it, finding the balance within ourselves, with the relationship of the mind, body, and soul, the relationship of which I don't like to say the physical realm and the non-physical, because even the non-physical realm is physical. It just vibrates on such a high frequency that it's less dense than this one, but the relationship balance between those realms within your life, within the chakra system, the relationship of the chakras, balancing the chakras out, but just everything pointing again to that balance, but more so again within relationships. We're having different karmic relationships pop up right now, and knowing there's no hard feelings, and again, even for the collective, the relationship between what some people, again, black and white people in America, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is a thing. Again, as much as we don't want to muck it up in the 3D realm, it's not mucking it up. This just is what's being asked, or what's coming up to the forefront is, the relationships on again, all across the board, because as above, so below, as within, so without, like, say, for instance, certain beings on this physical plane may be like cancerous cells in the body, but within my body, I'm not going to hate the cancerous cells in my body, I'm gonna have a certain type of understanding and unconditional love towards those cancers, because I realize those cancers serve a purpose within this realm of reality, and actually, to some extent, the catalyst for me getting closer in alignment with my higher self is due to those cancerous cells, so to speak. So, it's like giving thanks for all the relationships that spark what is life, like life is what it is due to, the different relationships of, all different aspects, the negative and positive, the hot and cold, the light and dark, the shit that smells stink and the shit that don't. It's a symbiotic relationship where they help each other to exist, as well. So it's, again, relationships on all levels, getting to the deeper aspects of it. And again, with it being the full moon or the moon energy, in connection with, being inward and in connection with our emotions, so like an inner energy and emotion. Matter of fact, and even too, I caught about that, like with the moon dealing with psychic abilities and our relationship on a psychic level, like telepathy, our connection with telepathy and our relationships on a telepathic level, is coming into play right now as well. But, and two, authenticity within relationships. I know I probably said it already, but just saying it again. How authentic are we being in our relationships? Because you could try to lie to yourself all you want and say, "Oh, I really vibe with this person," or "I really want to vibe with this person." Is what your actions show. Your actions speak louder than your words. Are you really vibing with this person if you find yourself not vibing with them, but you say you like to vibe with them, then maybe you're doing more talking about it than actually, really feeling like that, So again, and another very important thing before I go is be able to laugh at yourself right now. Like, be able to, have to eat shit and laugh at yourself, because the ego, if you that person that you think you know it all, or you hate to be wrong, because again, that's more so the ego anyway, but, if that egoic aspect holds a strong energy within your being, as far as say for instance you find out about some information that proves that an older position you was holding proves it to be inaccurate, instead of being like, "Oh, well, no, I'm gonna hold on to that inaccurate information. You gotta be able to be like, all right, cool. That shit was inaccurate. I gotta keep it moving. You know, like you gotta be able to laugh at yourself. And look, you know, just, you know, within life, just look at it. You know, look at the people who's stubborn and don't like to, you know. Of course, bro, like when it's time to eat shit, we all gotta eat the shit, you know what I'm saying? So the best way to do it is with a laugh or with a smile on your face, you know what I'm saying? Knowing that, you know, by not only your laughter, but also your acceptance of it, you're transmuting that energy, you know what I'm saying? Instead of allowing for it to continue due to your stubbornness and due to your sternness on some, I ain't laughing it off, or I feel like I should hold this position, I feel like I should still, you know, then you're going to constantly be stagnant in whatever place it is, and your water won't continuously move. You'll be dammed up, you know, like in a hellish state of lesson loops, you know. And one man's God is another man's devil. One man's hell is another man's heaven. You know, some people may find this earthly plane as a heaven. Some may find it as a hell. You know, it's all on your unique experience, you know. But for the most part, again, when we kind of being stuck in one little realm of reality on some repeat shit, and think about having to repeat the same shit over and over, you know, and never experiencing nothing new. That's like a, you know, that's like a hell. That's why sometimes, you know, we do feel like, you know, sometimes that energy will pop up where we feel like, oh shit, I must be going through something bad, because I'm just constantly at this plateau of doing the same thing and thinking the same, you know what I'm saying? That's why that does kind of have a certain little vibe of like, you know, I'm doing something wrong or bad. But again, it's not that you're doing anything wrong or bad. The universe is showing you, hey, you are stuck in this lesson loop, so you might want to make some changes if you want to see different. If you want to see different results, do different things. You know, but if you constantly go into the same coffee shop at the same time and hollering at the same person at the same time and doing this at the same time and doing, because that's also part of relationships, like how we dealing with our, you know, our energy management, our time management, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, but also again, like holding on to these same perspectives keeps the same things going on. If we want to see change, then we got to do something that is different. Peace. Happy now. Eyes will vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Peace.